वनक्कम, मैं हैदर अली सैयद आशीर्वाद से यूनाइटेड अंडर तमिल सेवा.
Now let's talk about something which I've been mentioning, warning for more than 6 months. Either how many times I have said, when we talk about Pandian, people will land up to abuse.
Yeah, many a time. Yeah.
What happened yesterday, Kulande?
Anna, actually, I spoke to them. They didn't get the core of that message actually. So I made them realize like the whole plot and all that.
No. There is nothing.
Okay.
No. Don't worry about it. It is not Vinod's statement. What Vinod said is a compiled statement. What Vinod said is very, very simple thing. Everything which has been said in other books, especially fictions. He spoke about Mara or Vasundhara Pandian and Veera Pandian fighting over a female. Who is that female? Nandini. That narration is there in the fiction. Sonderlin's book, that is. And he spoke about Samana thing. That is, Sangis are they talk about it. There is no massacre has happened. And they are pointing out in Karnataka, this happened, that happened. When we say that Asivagam Gurus, obviously that it is all of them. We start from that Asokan period and how these people were persecuted or driven away. And he talks about Ajivaka. He dropped so many things as a statement, not allowing anyone to ask question. He asked me a question that what Ajivaka is Tamil. Is it Tamil, Ajivaka? Because the book Ajivaka
No.
was not, you remember
The
that,
word
right?
is not Tamil. Word is not Tamil. Ajivika is not Tamil. Asivaham is Tamil. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he said that, is it Tamil? So he is trying to say that Markali Kosler, how can be Tamil? But who wrote Ajivaka? Markali Kosler did not write Ajivaka. After his death, the book was written, stating that the Ajivaka book is Ajivaka was created by Markali Kosler and he died into 400 centuries, 480. There is a book which was written by somebody else on the views of Markali Kosler. He didn't say that. So he is giving that reference. There is a book, if you can find it in Amazon also. Then he talks about Asivagam existed in 14th centuries. Again, he talks about Asivagam by A.L. Basham. Because A.L. Basham is the one who did the research and he brought that out. And based on that, I also mentioned about two other authors in 1950s, before A.L. Basham, 1950s, from once we got the freedom, we have so much of work to do. And people quickly published one thing and saying that Asivagam doesn't have spiritual content. Then after 30 years, and these people that Carnegie started his thing, and he comes up with this now. Every 50 years, 100 years, there is always somebody coming up. To say that Asivagam doesn't have spiritual content. Asivagam, see what is this? And he used a lot of derogatory terms actually. He said, no, he may be useful in Tamil, Desiyam and all that, Kulandai. I warned about this before. Only when you bring up Pandian's history or Asivagam, you will find so many people will talk against it. They'll come up from nowhere. I've mentioned this. Have I, even to you, Kulandai, have I mentioned this or not? So it is not a surprise.
Yeah.
You will be surprised to find out. People won't even know. It bothers them so much. The existence of the city, existence of mentioning the name, it bothering people. They are afraid. What is it afraid? Because people like me may talk in my fashion is what they are afraid, I guess. Because now they have the reasons whatever he is giving is, he went on this like, what is this? Aதாவது, it is a very, very exact terminologies were used by the Vedic people. These guys are like, in fact, Asivagam Gurus had Kondais. He said like, tonsure, which means he doesn't have any clue at who sits outside the city, who sits inside the city, who sits in the king's court. Asivagam is it's good, like, Shin is here. Asivagam is a way of life which whoever follows, and they, one tells, it's like a Yamalam. But when people have when they need someone to teach them, then they go to one person and they go to another person. It's a path I have mentioned. Since Shini is here, these things are not for even Venkat, I assume the similar is why I say the way that we look at Vaishnava is entirely different. People who follow Vaishnavam is each of them have their own thing. Even if they have opinions, the world is not in such a way that they can express fully about what they feel. If you look at the core of Vaishnavam, which is Srini would know, because nowadays the modern Vaishnavam is, it talks only about Perumal. It doesn't talk about the actual concept of Vaishnavam with avatars. How avatar is, there is a primary avatar in a way. Each and every one of us are avatars in a way. If we follow the life of a virtue, it starts from our home. The one who make changes and guide people. That's from a family, from a village, from a city. That the avatars which we talk about, though the lineup of avatars I may not agree, but the concept of primary avatars who make changes for the one who does good to those who he has not seen, who the people have not seen, not lived in the same time, the avatars guidance goes for centuries and centuries. He is the biggest avatar. This is also a Sivagam. When certain things have happened to our Sivagam, if you actually look at it, that the only difference problem here is, Vaishnavites will not say that like, it evolved between like, and 6th, 7th century. They don't say it based on like certain Vaishnava point of view. It is thousands of years. But exactly the same time, in the southern region, all the Asivagama gurus were like massacred, discriminated. They took another form. When you all read about Illuminati, that like, how there is a lineage is there, and every now and then they keep changing and changing. There is also another force against them. Also have to do the same thing, right? But I'm not, it is only my views, that my understanding, whoever wants to understand this way that they can see it. But for that someone, the way that like, how Asivagam can be understood by living it, people also have to understand Vaishnava by living it. If they don't understand and they discuss like that Guy Kabir and all that, it doesn't work. They can always skip it, and like there are plenty of things in the world to deal with. They can go ahead. The way I see them, I don't know if you know that, because of the boldness of Srini's presence, I say, if you notice all Tangalai Brahmins, Tangalai people, all based on like Tamil, which we already know. And most of them, if you see that, they'll be based on Madurai. I was about to say that, Srini, I want your point of view that you're here. Thanks, Srini.
Vanakkam. Thank you.